Ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Grassroot Chats Feature Show. Welcome to the wonderful, wonderful show where we talk about topics that we just like to debate, fight each other about, and we see exactly how our opinions match what you guys may think. Of course, in the studio, once again, we have the angry one. How you doing, sir? You good? You have Neil, that looks like an old DJ from something in the past. And of course, we have Big Steve. How's it going, people? How's it going? All right, this week, very simple. But before that, of course, if you like what you hear, what you see, please subscribe and all that good stuff. Twitter account at Grassroot Chats, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, people, we're going straight into it. We have broken the Premier League into two halves, alphabetically, first 10. And we're going to talk about each team and the best player or the player that has the most impact so far this season. So, let us start with the wonderful North London team, the Arsenal. Neil, who's been the best player for the Arsenal this season?
Best player for Arsenal this season. I'm going to go with the centre-back, Gabriel.
No.
I think if you're looking at players that have had a positive impact and the way that he's performed, he's matured quite a lot this season. Doesn't show much emotion. Steve will like that one. And I think it was easy enough to pick like the strikers and everyone else up there, but I think the defensive record at Arsenal has been fantastic, and he's a part of that, and I think that's one of the reasons why they've done so well.
I do agree with the fact of the maturity and improvement, though, because he has gotten to that point where you don't really notice him in games because he's clean, hardly gets like terrible tackles and late lunges and stuff. Him and Ben White seem to have a very good pairing, and he seems to be the mature one out of two of them. But Big Steve, the angry one, I'll start with Big Steve first. Do you agree with that?
Yes, you can say Saka and Odegaard have been very good for Arsenal this season, but to me, Gabriel has come in. I can only think of two games where he's made a mistake: the Wolves game and the sending off against Man City, which is a bit silly. But apart from that, he's solid. When he's not there, you notice it.
All right, the angry one.
I've got a couple of people.
No,
Saka.
Before you say that, you agree with Neil, or would he?
I agree that he's had a massive impact. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's not my pick. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I could have picked him. I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I'm just going for it's out of Ramsdale, Odegaard, and Saka. I mean, you could pick any of them. But as I'm a forwards or ex-forwards, I'll go with Saka.
Ooh, Saka. I mean, Saka can do no wrong for you. I'm sure Saka was your best player 5 years ago, even if when he hadn't started playing. But yeah, Saka has had a good season. He is.
What are you hating for?
It's not hating. I'm just saying what you would have done.
He's better than Rashford.
Oh, here we go. Man United is M. It's far away. Far away. Wait till we get there, then you can do your hating. Yeah, but Saka is very good and very mature. Especially, he's one of those that you think he has been around for like 10 years when he has not. Plays good football, sweet, straight to the point. Always has an impact on the game. And of course, he is the angry one's favorite player. Obviously, Neil, you've said Gabriel, but would Saka have made it in your top three?
Never.
Who would have been your top three after your other two after Gabriel?
My two after that, I then would have to pick Odegaard because he is the linchpin at the moment for Arsenal. If he's not in the team, they look a little bit lackluster. And other than that, I think I'd have to go for either Ramsdale or Tierney on the left. I think they're both too important. As much as Saka brings some prowess up front, I think he's probably a little bit too hyped for me. Plus, I prefer the defensives.
Okay.
Steady Eddies.
All right. Well, before we go back to him being too hyped, Big Steve, you agree with the angry one? You like his choice? Would he have been in your first three, or is he your player as well?
Yeah, I agree with him. I agree with him.
Who?
I agree with you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm yours, Neil.
I can't speak. I'm having a heart attack. Someone help me. Write it down. What day of the week is it?
That must have been very hard for Big Steve to say. Yeah, but so you agree. Well, I think those are good choices, though. It's personally, I don't know how Saka will not be in anybody's top 3. Well, I know it's Neil here, and he says he believes Saka is a bit hyped. But Big Steve, what do you think? First of all, Big Steve, who is your best player so far for Arsenal?
Gabriel.
He's
making a difference. As I said, when he's not there, you notice it. Yeah, Saka's done really well. He does make a difference going forward, but that's because the Arsenal forward line is misfiring as well. But Odegaard as well, he's showing that he's a leader. Some of the touches he does on the pitch, the link play is fantastic. But to me,
ESR when he's fit.
Yeah, but to me, Gabriel at the back, it's made it solid. When he's not there, it's a big difference. He's managing the game. And last season, I used to think that he had to play alongside someone, but now he seems to have taken the leadership role at the back. Even though Ben White's come in, they have a great understanding.
But isn't it the same thing with the lack of options at the back? So if you're missing White or Gabriel, next after that's bloody holding.
No, it's just the quality is not the same, but it's just still the way they defend, the way they seem to be more of a unit when he's about. He can be aggressive. He leads them. People would have thought that Ben White might come in and do it, but no, Gabriel's taking on the leadership role.
I mean, you could also look at it that Ben White came and made him improve as well. But it's all good. It's all good looking so far. Before we move on from Arsenal, though, Saka hyped, Neil?
Yeah, man, he's English, isn't he? Everyone knows English guys are way hyped, way more than they should be. If he was any other nationality, I don't think he would have quite as much hype as he gets.
Is Foden hyped?
Yeah, way hyped. He's a great player, but he didn't even play great on the weekend. I thought he wasn't. Huh? He didn't play great against.
No, he played well.
He played well against United, but it wasn't great.
Well,
it was all right. I mean, don't forget we played against that amateur defence. Anyone looks good. I mean, I personally think I would have scored in that game against that woeful team.
No, you wouldn't.
And I am
have
old
goalkeeper.
and unfit.
No, you wouldn't have. But anyway, so Angry One and Big Steve, Saka hyped or living up to the expectation?
He's where he's supposed to be. I mean, everyone's saying that he's a top player, special talent, but nobody's saying he's a world beater yet. So credit where credit's due. When and if he dips, I'm sure he'll get in the neck. Same with Foden. By the moment, they're showing their ability and their potential. I wouldn't say he's hyped, and neither is Foden. I think they're as good as people say they are at the moment.
Big Steve?
I think there is a little bit of hype. To both of them, I'd say. Saka is doing very well, but it's in a poor misfiring Arsenal team going forward.
Big Steve is the only guy that can agree and disagree with Toby at the same time. It's the guys. I don't know how you do it, but he's the same guy that can agree and disagree at the same time.
No, they are doing well, but they're not world beaters. They're doing very well where they are. Now, can you take these players and put them in other sides and will they perform? Probably not. Yeah, not at the moment.
I'm pretty sure Foden and Saka could go and play for Liverpool and do bits and bobs.
Wow, I'm actually surprised.
For me, I don't think that the hype is obviously there because they're British. But what we need to do is make sure that they continue developing as they are. Like Saka is definitely better than he was 2 years ago, right? Foden's coming in and creating a name for himself as well as a good regular starter, which is great. But we need to remember that they're both young and that we need to make sure they continue to progress. And this isn't where they get to. And then, in 4 years' time, we're looking, where are they? Oh, they're in Rashford.
So the thing, though, that so just to end this, are they hyped? Are you saying they're hyped? So, okay, let me put it this way. At the position that they're in now, they have an impact, right?
Yes.
Okay, so at what point would you say they are not being hyped, but they're actually living up to expectation? And that's just the nail.
Just to me?
Yeah.
No, I suppose you think of the rest of the players just being left alone. Odegaard doesn't get the praise that he deserves maybe for Arsenal, apart from the Arsenal fans. But Saka will be more widely known. He will get berated when he misses and doesn't play well. But that hype then comes along when he plays well. He's like the best player that's ever played for Arsenal. The same with Foden. When he plays well, you're like, this is the best
Stockpot
player
and
that's
Leicester.
ever. Like, let's just bring them down. They've had a good game. Let's make sure they continue to develop. And it's an English thing that happens for a lot of the players. I'm not saying that they're going to suddenly become worse, because these are top players, but actually the progress that they're making is really good, and that needs to continue, because that only helps English football out, and that's a good thing for England.
Well, moving on, as we have 9 other teams to talk about. So Neil thinks best player. Neil and Big Steve go Gabriel. The angry one goes Saka for Arsenal. Moving on to the next team, alphabetically, Aston Villa. Okay, let's start with the angry one. Aston Villa, best player so far this season.
You can't really look past Coutinho's impact in it, but actually the guy I was looking at was Mings as well. I mean, some people say he's had a hit and miss, but in terms of he leads passes, clearances, aerial duels, he's making an impact. But in terms of making that team tick, and he only came in recently, you can't look further than Coutinho. He's basically a cut above the rest, and he makes them better. So I'd say Coutinho for Villa.
Coming in, making an impact in a short period of time, playing, as Neil would say, Steven Gerrard calls him Phil. Very good friends. So he's looking like he's doing the thing. Neil, who did you go for in Aston Villa?
I think Coutinho is the obvious choice of the best player, but as terms of for the whole season, you've got McGinn. Is it Jacob Murphy? Was it Ramsey? What's his Jacob Ramsey, the midfielder?
Yeah, Ramsey. I think he's good.
And Mings, but I think for all round and what they bring, and Ollie Wilkins has been still continuing to perform what I want to say way above his level. I don't know, but he seems to be progressing nicely under there. So I've actually gone for McGinn because I think he offers way. He's got an engine that just goes on for days, and I think he's been a great impact player for them. He goes just on about his job without the much praise that I think he gets. He does get it, but nowhere near as much as what Coutinho will get after 2 assists in a game. McGinn just is that engine, and
I kind of see it in the. I mean, McGinn is really good, and the impact is there. And you're probably right, because if he was not Scottish, he probably would have all the plaudits. But Big Steve, who are you going for?
So, as everyone said, Coutinho. I think Martinez, again, has had a decent season. He's made some very key saves for Villa in some games. Matty Cash has impressed me at right back. But I'll go with, like Neil said, McGinn. He's before Coutinho come, and when Villa were doing well earlier in the season, he was performing then, and he's continued that.
Hold on. Neil, did you send Big Steve an email before the show?
He can't read, mate. There was no point.
Exactly.
Pictures.
What is it? I mean, I like the certain players you mentioned. Martinez, he has been really good this season. Matty Cash, consistency. Ezri Konsa, young player that broke into the team this season, is looking really good. Coutinho has had a very good, nice impact. But, I mean, there are loads of players to have picked from. But, yep, all good round. The angry one goes Coutinho. Neil and Big Steve choose the same player again in McGinn. All right. Moving on. We go to Brentford. Brentford, the wonderful team coming up, from the Championship, looking all nice. Let us start with Big Steve. Best player, Brentford, so far this season.
I could have gone someone easy and said Tony, but I'll go with the keeper Raya, because some of the saves I've seen him pull off in the last few games has definitely been impressive.
I mean,
goalkeepers union.
Goalkeepers union. You tend to notice goalkeeping saves, though, especially with smaller teams, because the amount of goals everybody expects them to concede and the amount of saves. So that is possibly a good shout. Probably a good shout. The angry one?
To be honest, I mean, I could go Ivan Toney if I have to pick a player, but actually, I think it's the manager, because that team is the sum of their parts. There's nobody that stands out particularly, and I think the manager is a big part on how well they play. So if you're going to ask me for a player, I'll say Ivan Toney, but I think really as I said,
Speaking about the manager, do you see him? I mean, there are loads of managers who always put in this bracket of, or if you give them a big team, they might probably win titles and stuff. Do you see him as somebody that can be a step up to a bigger team sometime in the future, especially if he keeps Brentford up?
I don't know about that, but I know there's some managers who are just good at getting smaller teams to play really well and be hard to beat, etc. I'm not saying that he's a world beater. I mean, he could probably step up, but I don't know. I haven't looked for that far. But for this team, he's been exceptional. In as much as Bielsa has been exceptional for Leeds.
No, he's not. He's been sacked. Neil?
There's a few for Brentford that I think of. Obviously, you've got Ericsson. Great signing now. So that's given the club a lift. I'm not saying he's playing, he's going to be the best player, but as a lift at the moment, as an impact, he's obviously got a big impact, but he isn't in there. Ivan Toney, great season so far. Norgard.
Where's not Norgard, sorry, Toney.
And Rare in goal. And Rare for me, I was going to go with because I'm an old fan of his from his Blackburn days. He's a good keeper, and he does make a lot of decent saves.
No, wait, time out. Look,
he was in.
No, come on, man. Look, they're texting each other. Come on, man. What's the chances of that? They never agree. But seriously,
no. Big Steve, remember, Big Steve agrees and disagrees with everybody at the same time.
No. One more, and we're stopping the show. No, mate, taking liberties.
Okay, the angry one goes with the manager for Brentford. Neil and Big Steve, surprise, go for the goalkeeper. We shall see. Moving on to the next team, Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton is one team that surprises people every season. They come in looking like people usually try to place them in the relegation battle, but they seem to have like a steady platform going forward. Good manager. And some good players are popping every now and then. I'm actually surprised most people don't try and rate them during the summer. But we'll see how the summer looks. Let's start with you, Neil. Best player so far that you think, Brighton? This season?
Just waiting for Steve to say his. I think Brighton was one of the harder ones looking through because they're not really a fashionable team. So it's a lot on of what I haven't seen them as much as I would have liked to. But it's three players that I think you've got Alice Mcallister, the Argentinian, Solly March, and Mark Cusarella, I believe his name is, the player. So out of those, I was going with Mcallister. I think he's had a good season. He seems to be steady, and I like my steady players. And the defensive, the back, I want to say the back at 8, the compactness of how Brighton play is key to everyone in that team. There's not just one player that you go, oh, that's a standout. Neil Mulpey, my mate, friends because we've got the same name, could have easily made it in there if he was starting more games because the guy's he's dirty and he's fun up front, and I think he's a good player. But yeah, that was my choice.
Okay, Big Steve. Who is, and don't you dare say Mcallister, who is your favorite player for Brighton so far this season?
It's the left back, what Neil said, Cucurella, or whatever his name is. Long hair. He's made an impact. From the first time I see him play this season, I was actually surprised that he just moved to the league. He just looked like someone who's born to play in the league.
It's like
gets down the left.
It's like a left back, Salah left back.
Yeah, gets down the left, no problem. Another shout for them was Trossard, because I think he's been very good for them up top.
Yeah, I think consistently for the past couple of seasons, or a few seasons back, he has been on form.
Yeah.
Got into the Belgium team. He looks really good. One of those that you think if he can keep that form, you probably think somebody might come for him, but you never know. He has been really good for Brighton.
Yeah,
and it's there. The angry one. Who are we going for?
Well, okay. So I'm going to throw into the arena the captain, which is named Dunk. I'm throwing in Basuma when he plays. To be fair, but I think, because of all of the players they've got, Basuma is the one that people talk about moving to the next level, whatever that is. when he's played. And I think before we talked about certain teams should have maybe went in for him who have a midfield crisis. I won't mention any names. I won't mention any names, but certain teams probably could have went in for him. So that shows what level he's at. But at the moment, Brighton are again similar to Brentford in as much as there's some of their parts.
The level that he decided to step Brighton instead of going to one of those clubs that need a midfielder.
Yeah, that says how good Brighton are really, and the manager is. Well, hold on, Man United don't have a manager. They've got a temp. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I'd say Basuma, but Brighton are kind of the sum of their own parts of some of their parts really as well, in similar to Brighton in that way. Brentford.
Brighton do have some wonderful guys there. He has been inconsistent in terms of injuries. Lamptey, really good, promising, strong going forward. No, nobody seeing that. Mope.
No, I just think he missed too many games injury-wise.
Yeah, I mean Neil has mentioned his mate Neil Mope. Yeah, but Brighton have a decent team. Lallana is still there and still does bits, as they say, when he comes on. But we shall see what happens. Surprised nobody even... Okay, well, only the angry one has picked the manager for Brentford. Surprised nobody actually went for Graham Potter. But we shall see. Now we're going to the dark depths of the north. Burnley. What a team. Well, so far, Big Steve, who has been the best player in Burnley for you?
Impact-wise, since he's arrived, Weghorst has been really impressive. He's come in and hit the ground running.
He has had 5 games, 1 goal.
Yeah, but he still had an impact to the way
I
they
know.
played.
I mean,
you said impact.
Yeah,
I didn't say that's the one I'm picking. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm just questioning your thought process. That's all. Sorry. Hey, that's my role here. Just questioning your thought process.
He was one of the ones.
How is it that you can agree and disagree with the other two?
No. I'm agreeing. I'm just saying. I'm just clarifying because we've done the same thing with Coutinho. Coutinho's had 5 games, but Weghorst, Pope's been really good, especially during their bad run. He's made some goal could be using again, another good saves. But I've been impressed with Cornet. Especially this first part of the season, he was scoring some nice goals and seemed like he was making Burnley play slightly differently. So yeah, for me, it's him, Cornet.
Okay, Neil.
Cornet, no. But Burnley was Harmon Pope, good keeper. Ashley Westwood, James Tarkowski. I've gone with Ashley Westwood. He seems to offer them the most in terms of possession, assists. He's generally a steady player in there. I'm liking the consistency that Burnley have. I know they've struggled a lot the first part of the season, but the world's their oyster. The only way's up, right?
You may think so.
They got Norwich below them. So can't really go down. Can't really.
But yeah, I just feel with Burnley, I think the owners are pretty much just banking on, last ditch, and you never know, let's just stay up, blah, 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 blah. I think they've used that excuse not to try and, finance the team even more. And Sean Dyche is magic, miracle. But we'll see what happens to them this season. The angry one, favorite of player with the most impact to you for Burnley?
Other ends of the pitch. So I like Ben Mee. I like Pope. By the way, Pope was amazing in FIFA 21, by the way. Unbelievable goalkeeper. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Unbelievable. Even when he was 84 rated, people were still picking him. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, Pope, I would say. Because, a strong defence is kind of integral to the way that they play. They're like Arsenal of old, winning the 1-0. You can't do that with a whack keeper. So I would say, yeah, him. The new guy's only had 5 games, but he's looking like he's making a much better impact than Chris Woods, who that guy was that they sold.
Chris Wood had a good assist on the weekend. Very good assist.
25 million for an assist.
Very good assist.
So yeah, so those are the two. But yeah,
staying on Nick Pope though, he seems to be very calm. He doesn't make so many. I can't even remember him ever making a mistake. seems to be very mature, as Big Steve would like to use. Why does Pickford get picked before him? Is it just a case of seniority, or is just he doesn't have enough experience, or he plays for Burnley? Why do you think that's the issue? Let's start with Big Steve, Goalkeepers Union. I'm sure you would know best.
The only thing I could think why he would get picked, why Pickford gets picked ahead of him, is Pickford's probably got better distribution with his feet.
Or the rugby clearances.
Yeah, that's it. But in terms of solid, calm, pulling off saves, for me it'd be Pope. That's the only thing. The only thing is that bit of distribution and Pickford's quicker off his line. But that's it.
Okay. The angry one, what do you think? Same as Big Steve or just manager's choice?
I think Pickford's got a bigger personality. He's a mad kind of unpredictable shot stopper. He pulls off some crazy saves, even though he's only basically a midget. Yeah, it's basically it.
We would like to apologize for such language.
Sorry, I don't know what the
like
correct term is.
5'11", Pickford.
Yeah, but Pope's like 6'5", so to Pope, he is
no.
Wolf. I don't know.
It's not those either. He's smaller.
He's smaller.
That's it. He's just smaller than Pope.
He's just shorter, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's like me versus Neil, isn't it? Like Neil's only about 4 foot in real life. There's a little Smurf over there wearing a hat.
Neil,
Anyway,
what do you Nick Pope or Pickford?
Sorry, mate. The 5'2" guy was scaring me. I'd have Pope out of the two, but it's not my choice, right? So there must be something that happens at the training that we don't know. He must perform better. Maybe he commands the defence, and the Everton defence haven't been as decent as the Burnley defence in games. Less consistency. Burnley have had the same manager for a while, so there's a more of a team built up there, which helps Pope out no end. And maybe in the actual big times, again, like anyone can play well in an England shirt. Pickford and Maguire are both exceptions to the rule of how well they play for their clubs, to how well they play for the national team.
Oh well,
and we all know that.
We do now. You always remind us. Well, there you go. So the first 5 teams, we have the players have been picked for impact and best players so far to the wonderful guys and teams. Now we're going to go for the other half in alphabetical order of the teams in the Premier League this season. And of course, number 6 is good old Chelsea. Big Steve, one of Big Steve's favorite teams. Big Steve.
So could have picked what's his name? Kai Havertz. Or Rudiger, but I've actually gone for Thiago Silva.
Good shot.
Because
Neil laughs because Neil is probably going for the same thing.
He's playing very well, and then when he's not playing, again, like I said earlier, when he's not playing, you seriously notice it.
Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation about age a few episodes ago. Ladies and gentlemen, please go back and watch that. Talking about age just being a number. Thiago Silva is definitely proving that, and he is looking really good this season. And if I'm not mistaken, he has signed another year contract. So clearly they see the impact he's making. I won't even ask Neil who he chose. I'll leave him to last. And the angry one?
I mean, Silva was on my list, but I'm not going to pick him now. So I'm going with Rudiger. I'm not going to go with those two. So Rudiger. Another very improved player since Tuchel came. Under Lampard, he was very... Whoa. Sorry, let me rewind that. What about James, though? James?
No, you've already picked your player. Back in your box.
No, I'm changing it.
5'2", man.
No, I'm changing it. James. 5'2", you wish I was. Change it to James, yeah. Change it to James, because wing-back system is so important to Chelsea at the moment. Thank you
very much for... First of all, the award goes to Antonio... Nah. Sorry, man. Sorry. Rhys James, this is yours. So, okay. Neil, who you going for?
Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't pick Rhys James initially. Rhys James had a good season. Got injured, so dropped off a little bit. Thiago Silva having a great season at the back. Rudiger's just Rudiger. And then I was going to go for Lukaku.
No, you are not.
as an impact, right? He's been all over the news. He's had cuddles with Tuchel. There's not anyone else we've seen documented having cuddling up to him in the stairwells. I'm going to go with Rhys James purely on his stats and goals. I'd already looked at the squad list before we turned up, and someone said, "Oh yeah, what about Rhys James?" Yeah, Rhys James definitely there. Overall, out of all the players,
Mike is going to change it now and go back to Rudiger because now that I have agreed with him, the man doesn't like people agreeing with him. Well, there you go. Rhys James wins it here, and of course, Big Steve went for Thiago Silva. Okay, moving on to the east side of London. East? No, sorry, south. Where is Crystal Palace anyway?
Southeast.
Southeast. You see?
Southeast.
You see what I did there? East, south. Anyways, who would you pick as your best player for Crystal Palace? Neil.
I don't really think there's many to pick from of having a great season at Palace that would get above Conor Gallagher this season. That hands down for me their best player. And I don't think there's anyone else in the team worth chatting about. Sorry, Palace.
Isn't he
the Chelsea loanee?
I can't have that, mate. I can't have the loaned him.
Boy, no, I'm just saying they've got some good players to come back.
I mean,
he won't get in their team though.
Good shot, Conor Gallagher. I mean, it would be very surprising if Crystal Palace or Vieira, at least if Vieira stays on, doesn't try to sign him with what he has done this season. I mean, you could argue that Zaha, Olise, those boys have been really good, but Conor Gallagher has been looking the part. The angry one, who are you going for?
I had Zaha or Gallagher. Zaha's their main guy, like probably year in, year out, but Gallagher's come in and he's done some bits, to be fair. And I'm loath to agree with that Smurf over there again, but yeah, he's right. Yeah, Gallagher or Gallagher.
Okay, Big Steve.
I would say Elise has had a really good impact in the season. Definitely more than Zaha, in my opinion. But he was going to say something. But then I would say Conor Gallagher. For me, he's been Crystal Palace's best player so far this season.
So here's the thing. Zaha does this thing every season. And I'm sure, okay, I don't know how many goals or assists or whatever stats you want to pull out so far this season. But is it always a case that because you're so used to one player doing the thing, somebody else comes and looks brand new and everybody just jumps on that? Because I'm sure you could argue that Zaha has probably had the same. I'm not arguing with your choice. I'm just saying generally you could probably say Zaha has had as much as an impact as Conor. But because Conor is new.
Yeah, because that's Zaha's level. So for you to make an impact, you have to step your level up. If you're coming in and scoring 10 goals every season, that's 10 goals. If you do that for 5 seasons, but for you to make a further impact, you have to go to 15.
But his 10 goals will still be enough to keep Crystal Palace up, and he'll probably still be the best player.
Yeah, but to say that you've raised your level as a player and made more of an impact, you have to up your levels. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but he's playing with the same players, though, isn't it? Me and Julian know it does.
All right. The guys have chosen, and of course, we're going all the way to the blue side of Liverpool with a team that's managed by Super Frankie Lampard. And let us start with Neil for who you pick as Everton's best player so far.
Dele. Sorry.
Wait to get that one out.
It's just like, is he there? I mean, I'm thinking he rolled up in his roller, right? And some clothes, and that was it. Do you know what? Everton are such a shambles. It's almost embarrassing to pick a player that's their best at the moment. For the season, their standout player would end up being Demarai Gray. Like, all right, he's having an okay season. Imagine if there's nothing good to say about Everton this season. They are really that bad. Other teams you expect to be down there, but Everton you never expect to be so low in the league. Demarai Gray.
Demarai Gray. Woo! Big shot. Big Steve?
Probably Dominic Calvert-Lewin because of how much they've missed him, to be honest.
I mean, the guy is so good that even when he doesn't play, he has an impact.
Exactly. Because since he's been at the side, they've been terrible. Probably for ones that have been playing, Decore. I think he's done well in the midfield. Always trying, always got effort. Yeah, and I think he's been consistent, even though they've not been great. But yeah, consistent. And I still wonder why he's there and not other club. But anyway.
Hey, well, I mean, he was with Watford when they went down, and then they bought him. And it could be that case of just being consistent, and you're so consistent that people just go, yeah, it's another one. Or is he better than what we already have and stuff?
Or he
like
could
that.
take clubs down.
That's the Ramsdale theory.
Only Neil would think that way. The angry one, who do you pick? Everton's best player so far to you?
No one. No, they've all been dead. You can't pick anybody out.
Okay, so we'll pick their fans for supporting them. Just
That's a good
we'll pick their fans for supporting them. Since you couldn't pick a player, might as well pick their fans for buying the season tickets and making sure that you could cheer them on. Okay, but you have to pick one though. You have to pick one, just one. Demarai Gray.
Demarai Gray. No, the guy.
Match with Neil again. No,
the guy with the guy with the Lego high top.
Townsend.
Townsend.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So not Delhi.
Definitely.
Who?
Okay. And we move on to Leeds United. These guys all had an impact on the entire league last season, running around non-stop, Duracell batteries. Couple of injuries this season. Manager got sacked. New manager in, struggling relegation. But we still need to pick who their best player is so far. The angry one, let's start with you.
Phillips, even though he's injured, he's still the best player.
Impact so far. Is he one of those that even because he's not around, he's making an impact?
Well, basically, yeah, because he's not around, they're going to get relegated. That's how much impact he has.
Okay. Neil?
You can't just pick a player who's injured all the time.
Imagine that.
Yeah, two players for me. Rafinha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely done bits. James, since he's started changing position, I think he's tried his hardest and a little bit failed. But I think the keeper as well. Mcallister, I think his name is. I might have pronounced that wrong. So if I have, mate, give me a call and let me know how to pronounce it. He's only young. And
yeah, he's only 21, and he's.
Do you know what I mean?
Quite good,
it would be nice if he was working with some defenders to help him out. But I'm going to go with Rafinha because I think he's definitely the biggest impact, and especially even better when he's fit. But yeah, for me.
Big Steve?
I was going to say Harrison. Meslier, the goalkeeper, as you lot said, he's done very well. Harrison's been good. But yeah, like Neil said, Rafinha, he's been the quality.
Do you see, if anything let's say Leeds go down this season, do you see loads of their players being taken out of that team?
I can see them losing Rafinha, Phillips, probably Bamford, and I wouldn't be surprised if the keeper left as well, because I think the keeper's very young, and I think he was given the opportunity by Bielsa. I don't know if another manager coming in would actually keep him and use him as their number one, but he's to me he's earned it, but it's whether they do it because he's a very young keeper.
But I think they will because they've been in Championship probably. So
Dan James,
keep him.
Nobody will keep him.
Yeah, I mean they're going to keep all their players apart from three. No one's going to want Bamford, Rodrigo, Rafinha, and Phillips. The rest will stay. Not
Dallas?
From anything else. They'll stay. No, who's going to want to pay big money for them? And the nicest way, they just got relegated.
they haven't yet.
Well, no, but if that's what you're saying, if they went down, and I'm saying they've got relegated, they're not like they're setting the world alight. And the keeper will do himself well staying there for a good couple of seasons. I don't think at 21 he's going to get in any Premier League team to start, other than where he's at.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. And we move to the last team for this part of the series where we're picking best players so far this season from the top half alphabetically in the Premier League. And we go to Leicester City. Neil.
Vardy. He's still their top goal scorer this season. He is missed amazingly when he's not there. He's come back and he still looks decent, even his ripening old age. Schmeichel in goal with the other one I'd be looking at, but I think, Vardy. I want Tielemans to up his game a bit. He's just stagnated. Maddison's got progressively worse.
Injury? I mean, he has come back to score some good goals and have some nice assists. He was injured most of the season, or so far this season, but I understand what you mean in terms of these players get to a particular level, you want them to up it, but injury
They're just
for
stagnant, right? And we can't use injuries as an excuse for a player not to get any further.
I mean, we've used it for we've used players have been out as an impact.
I haven't. I've not used one. I played fairly.
All right, the angry one, Leicester City.
I know you want me to say Harvey Barnes, but I'm not going to say
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I just asked you.
No, you just text me just now. You text me separately, asked me to say Harvey Barnes. Yeah, but I'm not going to say Harvey Barnes. It's got to be Vardy, man. He's missed Leicester in this current format of Leicester, which is the only Leicester that I actually know since Heskey days. So it's Vardy, as Nilinho says.
Morfinho. Yeah, right. I like it. Big Steve.
Over the last few weeks, probably a couple of months, you could probably throw Maddison in there because he's actually done a little bit. He's done well since he's come back from injury. I understand what Neil's saying though about players like Maddison and Tielemans. They're at a level that they've been for a couple of seasons. You want to see them elevate and do it consistently over the whole season, not just in dribs and drabs, and justify some of the price tags that's going on when people were discussing their names and moves. Pereira, the right back, I think he was out injured. He was injured at the beginning of the season, but since he's come back, he's allowed Leicester to be more themselves, or the Leicester we've known over the last couple of years. He just consistent and he gets up and down and good delivery into the box. But Vardy's their guy.
He's also good on foot as well. He's got some pace as well.
Yeah.
Good right back.
No. I'm sorry. Indeed, no, Harvey Barnes. No,
I said Harvey Barnes. That's the first name I said.
We can't pick anyone you want, JJ.
But stand out for me is Vardy because again, like I said with some other players, when he's not there, it's a big miss, and then you see the impact he has when he's playing. He makes a big difference. Just being on the pitch with him. So yeah.
Oh, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The boys have all picked their players so far from the top half alphabetically from the Premier League. In the next part, which will come out for the next feature show, we shall pick from Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Newcastle United, Norwich, Southampton, Tottenham, Watford, West Ham United, and of course, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Stay tuned for that. But for now, if you've liked what you've heard, please subscribe, press that wonderful red button to get notifications. We shall be with you all through the week through Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we shall be coming out with our TikTok account. Please subscribe and support the wonderful lads in the studio. Till then, we shall say goodbye to the man that has all the impact with his sexy voice still, the angry one, and of course, Big Steve, and of course, Nilinho Smorfinho. Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Grassroot Chats. Goodbye.
Bye.